So please come into the hall room and switch your mobile phones to silent or vibration mode. Thank you very much for your attention and cooperation. Hope you have a great time here today. Thank you. I'll see you later.
specialized data centers spread all over the world, offering the powerful operating capability to support data network. Excelsior design philosophy. Precise and acute market sense. Persistent and brilliant innovation. Strict and rigorous quality control. Perfect and gorgeous product manufacturing. Fast and agile customer service. Accurate and efficient shipments and warehousing. All of our enthusiasm and dedication has been diffused all over the world through our products. New era, new intelligence. Bitmain will forge ahead in high-performance computing realm and bring us the glorious and resplendent future.
Welcome home.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tbilisi, welcome to Georgia, and welcome to the opening ceremony of the 2018 World Digital Mining Summit. Gamma Droba, everyone. It's such a great honor to have all of you here today for this memorable occasion. And my name is Emilia Sun. I'm very happy to be a host for today, tomorrow, and the day after. And I will be with you for 3 days in a row, so don't get bored. Well, thanks to our great hosts, Bitcoin and Bitmain and BitKan, I had the privilege of hosting BitKan's Global Summit last year in Hong Kong, which features the premiere of the documentary Bitcoin Shape the Future. And it authored a very important opportunity and turning point for me to get to know this amazing and incredible industry. And I'm so honored and flattered to be invited by Bitmain and BitKan again to host such a big industry summit, this time in such a historical and mysterious country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how did I know about Georgia? So we know that here we are in Tbilisi, and it's so amazing because I never thought about one day I would be in Georgia. Well, maybe that's because I didn't know that much of Georgia until not long ago, to be honest with you. That's my fault. Well, it's quite a funny story of how I really got to know Georgia. About 2 months ago, I was on a flight from somewhere to somewhere. That's not important. And it was so boring, so I started reading the in-flight magazine. And suddenly, I got attracted by a picture in the magazine's travel column showing a very breathtaking view with a historical church standing majestically on the rocky mountaintop all by itself and covered by snow. I just got stunned by its unique charisma, and I could literally see myself there just by a glimpse of it. So I don't remember how long I've stared at the picture for, and then I found the name of the attraction site is Tbilisi Monastery, and in the country of Georgia. Okay, definitely write down the name Georgia into my bucket list of travel destinations. But when would I go? Maybe in 2 or 3 years when there's direct flight from Hong Kong. That's what I thought on the plane. And then the flight landed and I took out my phone. I got a message from my very lovely friend Ruby, who works for BitKan, whom we know as one of the main organizers of the summit. And then the message read, "Hi, Emilia, how are you? I'm just wondering if you will be available from September 21st to 23rd because we're going to have a very big event in Georgia. And it would be very nice if you can come to be the event host." Not even having finished reading the message, I couldn't believe my eyes. Am I having deja vu? Didn't I just read about Georgia and now I'm going there? So I just couldn't believe it. That's what we call the fate or destiny, or should I call it c'est la vie, or in Chinese we say 冥冥之中命运注定. So for a few seconds, I was looking for the right words and phrases in all kinds of languages I know to describe my feelings. I don't want to be superstitious, but I literally got goosebumps from it. Well, anyways, I believe anything happened for a reason. Within less than a second, I replied to Ruby, "Yes, get me to Georgia." But until today, I never told anyone about this story because I didn't want anyone to know that I didn't know much about Georgia until I came here. Got a reputation to maintain, you know. So don't laugh at me, everybody. I know many of you, maybe just like me, it's your first time here in Georgia. So who has ever been to Georgia before? Can you raise up your hands? Okay, people, are you local from Georgia? You must be local from Georgia. How many locals we have here today for this event? How many people are from Georgia? Can you raise up your hands? Hello, Gamadroba. Pardon of my pronunciation because I just learned this phrase. And also, I believe many of you are from EU. So, ciao, guten Tag. Do we have anybody from EU? Can you raise up your hands? Hello, everyone. And also, we have a big team from China too. My people. Do we have anyone? 你们好吗? 你们好吗? Hello, everybody. And also, we have many guests from Russia. Do we? Привет, привет. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Georgia. Well, I think we should give a big round of applause to Bitmain and BitKan. Because of them, we can gather together here in Tbilisi. Let's give a big clap to Bitmain and BitKan. Well, speaking of Bitmain and BitKan, I believe many of you are very familiar with them. Now I'm going to give you a brief introduction of our real hosts, Bitmain and BitKan. That's my mission to complete. So we know that Bitmain was founded in 2013 and is headquartered in Beijing with offices throughout China, including Shenzhen, Shanghai, Chengdu, Wuhan, Qingdao, Fuzhou, Hong Kong, and has already expanded operations worldwide, including Singapore, Israel, the Netherlands, Norway, Canada, US, Brazil, and of course, Georgia. Bitmain transforms computing by building industry-defining technology in cryptocurrency, blockchain, and AI technology, acting as leading role in blockchain industry in the production of integrated circuits for cryptocurrency mining, as well as mining hardware under the Antminer brand. And the company also operates the largest cryptocurrency mining pools worldwide, Antpool.com, BTC.com, and ConnectBTC.com. Also, Bitmain started working in the AI industry since late 2015, launching its first AI deep learning chip in 2017 under the Sovereign brand, followed by a second-generation AI chip with 5 times the level of performance. And these AI chips extend capabilities in applications such as machine vision, data centers, supercomputing, and robotics. As a leader in the still nascent high-growth blockchain technology ecosystem, Bitmain supports a wide array of blockchain platforms and startups, and actively participates in industry and community development. And also, another joint organizer, BitKan, is one of the world's leading providers of blockchain and digital asset services. Established in 2012, BitKan has provided industry users with stable industry information, real-time market data, and mining monitoring, news, price alert, e-wallet services, and many other valuable functions, with millions of global users. And in 2018, this year, BitKan app rolled out its new feature, K-Site. I believe many of you has using it, and a vertical content community for blockchain and cryptocurrency industry. Users can easily create the exclusive groups based on mutual interests, discover valuable content, tokenize the original content, and enjoy many other unique functions tailored for blockchain and cryptocurrency industry with K-Site. And it has become an equal and free digital currency vertical content community platform, tapping into BitKan's global brand and influence. And after telling you so much about our great organizers, of course, I'll give you 2 very special and important figures who mean a lot to Bitmain and BitKan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jihan, the founder of Bitmain. Please say hi to our guests. Welcome to Tbilisi, and of course, and I'll give you my best friend, Ruby, also the marketing director of BitKan. Welcome. Where are you, Ruby? And of course, our summit has also invited cryptocurrency and blockchain pioneers and experts from all over the world. Let's see who we have here. We have Roger Ver, the CEO of Bitcoin.com. Hello. And we have Marco Strain, the CEO and co-founder of Genesis Mining. Welcome. And let's welcome Dmitry Hedrov, the founder and CEO of U-Miners. Welcome to the summit. Let's welcome Dmitry Aldersky, the managing partner of Electro Farm. Welcome to Tbilisi. And Austin Su, the vice president of Bitmain and the head of Global Mining Farm. Welcome. Jason Zhuang, the head of BTC.com. Welcome to Tbilisi. And also we have Lin Chaoxu, the head of Antpool. Welcome. And let's also welcome Martha Zhang, the co-founder of Dex.top. Welcome to the summit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for this 3-day Industry Insight and Networking Summit, we will feature more than 30 speakers and up to 1,000 attendees. And we can also expect to receive new insights on the cryptocurrency mining industry from these leading figures, as they conduct extensive discussions and exchange ideas on the latest topic concerning cryptocurrency mining. And the topics will cover challenges and opportunities that are available while this billion-dollar market awaits further exploration. Strong communication and information exchange as the strongest driving force for the global mining industry. And I believe you all be looking forward to it very much. So you may wonder, why are we having this summit in Georgia? why Tbilisi? We know that Georgia is a country at the intersection of Europe and Asia. And the capital city where we are, Tbilisi, is located on the southeastern edge of Europe and is the largest city of Georgia. And it's also the country's political, economic, cultural, and education center. And the city's location to this day ensures its position as a very important transit route for global energy and trade projects. And also, it's the home to Caucasus mountain villages and Black Sea beaches. Historically, Tbilisi has been home to people of diverse cultural, ethnic, and religious backgrounds, and it's also known for the diverse architecture and the maze-like cobblestone streets of its old town. And also, apart from that, Tbilisi is also a regional center in the use of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. The world's first cryptocurrency terminal was born here in Tbilisi, providing an opportunity to exchange lari with Bitcoin and Litecoin. So, from the joint efforts of many industries that have grown since, the Global Mining Summit will certainly have a whole new spot to it. Well, now we're having the World Digital Mining Summit 2018 in Tbilisi, and of course, we appreciate the great support from Georgian government. So, firstly, let's welcome the Minister of Finance of Georgia. Let's welcome Mr. Evgeny Mochuvariani to give us a welcome speech. Welcome to the stage. And thank you so much for giving us so much effort and support. Welcome. Please.
It's so tough not to sound boring after such a beautiful presentation of country and the summit itself, but I will try my best. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tbilisi. I'm glad to be here and address this great audience on this very important conference. And I am glad that it is happening here in Georgia. It is quite several years already since people around the world started to discuss the question, what is cryptocurrency? And let me answer this question together with you. Let me try to answer this question together with you. First, certainly the value of more and more goods, services, assets are measured in cryptocurrencies, which gives a unit of account feature to it. Secondly, it is more and more popular among people around the globe to save in cryptocurrencies for the purpose of exchanging in later on, giving store of value function to it. Third, it is medium of exchange. In other words, we all know how to pay which cryptocurrency with cryptocurrency and how popular this feature is becoming everywhere. And fourth, ICOs and other financial instruments give cryptocurrencies the feature to accumulate liabilities, allowing goods and services to be acquired now and paid in future. Economists know this feature as standard of deferred payment. So why I'm talking about that? Actually, these are four features known as four classical functions of money. So in this sense, crypto is not something new. It is based on conventional fundamentals. However, there is something new, right? And what is new is a very important question to answer in order to understand cryptocurrencies. Or another important question is, what is up for governments? What are the economic efficiencies that we can capitalize on? Before answering the question, I think we should acknowledge the cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies that are behind have a potential to generate a tremendous change in economical system and lifestyle. Simply saying, blockchain has a potential of change with a sizable to what internet did some 25, less than 25 years ago. Also, let me talk about the role of Georgia and where we stand in this very exciting process. Georgia is one among 3 biggest crypto mining countries. Different government entities have introduced blockchain technologies in their operating processes. The digital government concept, which we are now working on, and the concept of which we will be announcing soon, is based on blockchain technologies. So going back to the question, what are the compelling possibilities for the economic development coming from the blockchain technologies? First of all, it is absolutely new ecosystem and new opportunities for economic development coming from it. Consolidated, fair, and streamlined marketplace, creating efficiencies and transparency of economic system. Rethinking and disrupting conventional payment and financial systems. The perspectives of creating innovative ecosystems are tremendous. Of course, I am representing an institution responsible for fiscal policy, and the opportunities for fair and efficient fiscal management is beyond question. However, we should not forget the risks that may stem from cryptocurrencies. Sometimes cryptocurrencies are used for obscure transactions, given rise anti-money laundering concerns. In many cases, also cryptocurrencies are having incorrect macroeconomic model behind, which limit healthy economic developments. There are other risks, the risks which should be addressed adequately and appropriately. It is important to understand that we are living through a digital revolution. This revolution will give huge opportunities to the people and societies who get it and understand it rightly. I wish you very interesting and fruitful remaining 3 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, Mr. Ivani Machvaliani. Thank you. Well, thank you for the great support from Georgian government, and thank you so much, Mr. Ivani Machvaliani. So, who do you expect to come up to the stage next? Who do you expect? Oh, I heard his name. Okay, nextly, I'll give you Jihan Wu, the founder of Bitmain, to come up to the stage to share his view with us. Welcome to the stage. Okay, Jihan, where are you? Are you ready to share with us? Are you coming to the stage? It's so bright on the stage, so I can't see you clearly from here. Did he go to the bathroom? Where is he? Okay, let's just wait a moment for him to come here. Let's wait for his grand arrival. Okay, do we have him? Okay. No, not coming? Okay. Then let's welcome the lady first, okay? So I introduced you with my very good friend, Ruby. Do you remember her? And if Jihan's not coming here first, then I'll invite Ruby to share her view with us first. Okay, let's give a big round of applause to Ruby, the marketing director of BitKan. Welcome to the stage. Please.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Ruby from BitKan. Today, I'm very glad to be here to represent BitKan and as our co-organizer of World Digital Mining Summit, and to give you the warm welcome to Georgia. I have prepared a lot of introduction about BitKan before, but Emilia has talked a lot about company and about the product we have. I think I should leave the time for Jihan to see more of his views on the stage. And anyway, I need to thank Bitmain to give this opportunity to gather all the guests from the world together, and also thanks everyone who's seated here. and wish you to enjoy the trip, business trip in Georgia, and find the business you want and meet together and enjoy the stray days. And thanks again.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for supporting the great event. Thank you. So just got the new information and news. Jihan did go to the bathroom. So let's all wait for him next. Well, then after hearing what Ruby said, and nextly, I would like to introduce you with another great lady and also a great supporter for this event. Let's welcome the head of communications of B2B, Ms. Inge Snap, to share her view with us. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure. So my name is Inge Snip, and I represent Bitcoin. A lot of people may not have heard of you yet, but we're actually the largest miner right now in Georgia. And we've helped co-organizing this event, so we're very, very proud and very, very happy that you're here. I won't say too much because on Sunday, me and our CEO, Becca, will have a very long speech talking about exactly what it is that we're doing. But I'm very excited to see so many people from so many different places that are all working towards the same goal, that are all working in the same environment, and that are all working towards a brighter, more transparent, and more profitable future. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you at the conference the next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your welcome speech. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Inge Snip. And now, who we have next? I believe he's back right now. Okay, let's all welcome Jihan to come up to the stage. Welcome. And we've been waiting him for a long time. And also, I believe many people believe that Jihan owns half of the world's Bitcoins, right? So welcome to the stage.
Hi, hello. Hi. It's really nice to meet so many community, digital currency community members here. It's my first time to go to Georgia, and it's a really beautiful country, and I believe that lots of audiences here, it must be your first time to this country as well. And I wish you to enjoy this events and know lots of friends and find business opportunities and having more opportunities in the future on this great path to the new blockchain world. Today, I would like to discuss about what my thinking or my analysis or my thoughts about what will happen in the next 10 years for the blockchain industry. Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin 10 years ago. This year will be the 10th anniversary for the Bitcoin and for the blockchain technology. From very few people knowing about it, and lots of people, or most of people, when hearing about Bitcoin or blockchain, they think it's just like a Ponzi scheme, have lots of concerns about it, and now the majority of the world have already heard about blockchain, and lots of early people, lots of early birds have been participating in this community and this new economy. And if we see the penetration rate curve from the analysis, is very much like the early internet penetration rate. It grows very, very fast. So, what will be the most important topics in the next 10 years, or what will kind of a change we will see in the next 10 years? I think the first one will be the privacy and the security dilemma that we have been experienced in the blockchain. If we look at the Bitcoin's security model, it's kind of UTXO model. That has been proven to be working for 10 years, and it's a human readable script. If anything wrong happen, and we can identify it immediately, and the community can take immediate measure to save it. For example, Bitcoin have a kind of vulnerability to make a huge inflation, and it used to create like billions of Bitcoin in a single transaction, but the community identified it and stopped that fork, and the blockchain moved on. And recently, Bitcoin and Litecoin, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash also got the same vulnerability that it could possibly cause a chain split, and the Bitcoin can make a huge inflation inside of the code, but the people can identify it. So basically, there is no real risk around it, because when it happens, people knows, and we can fix it immediately. But the UTXO model have a problem that all the transactions recorded on the chain. So the privacy is a kind of a problem, because the chain analysis service can track all the transactions, and people are concerned about it. And the privacy is a very important issue that the low business wants really to know, to let other ones to know about how much revenue they have been making. And if you are going to a restaurant and spend some cryptocurrencies, and you really don't want the business or the restaurant owners to look at your wallet address and, this man must be rich, so maybe I should charge higher and give him more expensive menu to him, right? So the privacy is very important for the financial services. But the UTXO maybe is not quite perfect on that things. So people are inventing lots of new technologies that include, like, for one example is like a ZK Snark. It's perfectly private, but the problem for such kind of system, comparing with UTXO set, is that if there is really something wrong goes inside of the system, people may be not able to identify them immediately. So there could possibly be a huge inflation happened inside the system. Attacker found a loophole, and we possibly don't know. So that's kind of a dilemma between the privacy and security. Maybe we have to wait for some new theories, new methods to solve this. Or on Bitcoin Cash blockchain, we increased the block size to very large size. So the cache shuffle and core mixing services are relatively cheap and possible. So it can also protect the privacy of the consumers. So that is the first thing. The next 10 years, I believe, is very important. Second important thing would be the technology neutrality for the blockchain industry. Essentially, if we consider blockchain as a kind of financial market that is running bottlenecks and connecting the work together, regulations are usually kind of a very important issue for the financial market. But Bitcoin was born in a way decentralized. So no one is really in a responsibility to respond the regulation pressure. But as this system grows larger and larger, it will be an issue that people cannot avoid it anymore. This financial work is also bottlenecks that create even more issues than we think about among the early Bitcoiners. Early Bitcoiners may only think about, Bitcoin is taking away the monopoly power of governments issuing money. But actually, if you look at it around the world, no governments have a monopoly over issuing money. Even before Bitcoin was born, because American Euro, the governments are competing with each other. There are 200 governments around the world, and they're all issuing their own kind of currencies. It's a highly competitive world. So there's essentially no monopoly. So that's why Bitcoin born 10 years, and no government is really saying, Bitcoin is our enemy and we should take serious actions against it. However, after the ICO happened, and we see that, this is a really powerful financial market. Some kind of startups, maybe in American Silicon Valley, they raise hundreds of billions of capital in like 1 hour or two. And some other projects running a 1-year ICO process, they can raise several billion of dollars of capital during such kind of process. So this is a really huge thing that we know that retail financial consumers usually don't have the skill or knowledge to really protect themselves. And this year, we know this is bearish market. Lots of ICO investors have lose money. And such kind of world involves lots of regulation questions. If a scammer in countries A that raise money from citizens living in country B, and should country A cooperate with country B to detain this criminal or suspicious and transfer to country B, such kind of a problem is serious. Or if a country B citizen have a problem, or he think he's scammed, or if he goes to its government, whether the government will really should help him. So lots of regulation issues here because it's bottlenecks, and maybe some bad guys cannot be punished. And we know some ICO fundraisers after they raise money, and lots of rumors and news on the forum you can look at. They started to have a very nice lifestyle. I think that's kind of ridiculous. So how bad people will be punished? I think regulation should be quite important if the global financial market seamlessly is our vision. But it will come to a challenge to the technology, whether the technology will be able to maintain its neutrality. I think that should be important. It should be just like internet. It should be free. But lots of regulations can also pick up on top of this technology level. But the network itself should be make free. That's my point of view. Second is about the performance. I think that's kind of a very bad translation. Right now, the blockchain users around the world is roughly like 20 million, but I think in the next decade, it could possibly that 1 billion users around the world will participate in the blockchain network. Basically, that's not a very big number if you consider how many users are using the internet, or how many people have a bank account, or how many people have invested in the stock market, or how many people having invested in real estate. Lots of people. So, but if so many people are participating in the same network, we will see that the blockchain will have to increase its capacity to maybe to 10,000 times bigger than now. So it's a huge challenge for the technology. How do we increase the capacities? I believe that what will happen is already being discussed as today. There are basically several ways. Firstly is like the cross-chain, we make a side chain. But the problem is if you want to make a decentralized blockchain, and how you make the cross-chain and two-way packs, it's a still huge problem for it. Whether you will have to sacrifice the decentralization, so you make a kind of a central authority to make it happen, or basically I think it's very insecure to make it happen. There might be some new theory leads to academic papers to come up, but I doubt that it will really happen. Second is a buzzword about Lightning Network that several years ago. Lightning Network, I believe it can work pretty fine in some machine-to-machine, software-to-software use cases, but I think it will be a huge problem or even impossible to promote as a retail or retail payment, because there are lots of technology problems that stop common users to use it, and there will constantly be some problems that retail customers will really hard to understand what's happening, what's wrong with it. Some very smart PhD doing some startups, he told me that he engineered like 10,000 lines of codes, but he just feel it's very hard to explain or to deal with some corner cases in the Lightning Network. So Lightning Network, I think, basically does not work as a solution to serve billions of users, because users will not be able to understand those problems in the Lightning Network. It only will be able to serve some rare use cases. For example, streaming line payment, that people watch 1 minute video and paying 1 minute video's fee. It's just kind of very, very rare cases. That's about Lightning Network. So Lightning Network that will not be able to serve the next decade's scaling problems. And a third could be some technologies that compress the transactions. One representative of such kind of technology is Mimble-Wimble. That is all the history of the UTX transactions just gone, but we just make a commitment of the transaction history. And at the same time, we can achieve privacy because the history are thrown away. But the problem for Mimble-Wimble is also relies on some stronger cryptographic assumptions. And if it's may got the same problem as well as the Kisnak, if there is any problems happening in the scheme, people maybe feel very hard to identify the problem. And it also take away some script or opcodes functions from the blockchain. So the functionality of the blockchain become weaker. Maybe lots of interesting use cases like a smart contract has to be gone. So I think such kind of technology is perfect to make a private money and to make monetary transactions happening at a quite a private and fast speed, but it reduces the use cases of blockchain. And the fourth roadmap, I believe, is the most realistic one, is that we should design the architecture of the software, and we make dedicated hardware to make high throughput blockchain possible. We design a software architecture that makes the parallelization highly possible. That if you want to increase the capacity, just increase the hardware. Just stack more servers on top of it, and you don't have to change to rewrite the code bases. And we make all the process highly parallelizable in kind of we talk about sharding parallelization. That's the way forward. Right now, that's how Alipay, how Facebook dealing with billions of users on the world. Blockchain can also doing this. It will not be huge problems, I believe, for high transaction, high value business to run such kind of node. It's only about server, like tens of thousands of US dollar may be able to stack such kind of server together. It's only about Amazon Cloud, Ali Cloud, and maybe just kind of tens of servers in the data center. It's not a really huge problems if we design the architecture right. So my point of view is that we should make a dedicated hardware and design the software architecture right away, so we can make the parallelization highly possible. Another topic will be, we have been talking about that what blockchain can bring, what kind of changes can the blockchain bring to us. lots of people are talking about Airbnb on blockchain and Uber on blockchain. That's kind of a interaction between the blockchain and the real world. When we think about this, there are two directions that a blockchain interaction with the real world. Firstly, is that the real world's data just being recorded on the blockchain. So what happened in the world will be on the kind of mirror events on the blockchain. The other direction is the blockchain virtual events will drive the change in the real world. For example, blockchain Airbnb is supposed to be like this, so that you do a payment on the blockchain and apartments door will open for you because they identified such kind of payments are already happening on the blockchain. But the problem, I think, is quite like if you want to start an Uber without iPhone being invented, that will be a huge problem for you because no one has GPS in hand, and it's impossible for you to spread the GPS devices to so many potential customers and drivers. There was actually someone I met with did such kind of startup before, like 20 years ago. The idea is that they will manufacture the GPS devices, and inside there is a SIM card, so they can contact and make phone calls to those drivers and to guide them to the customers. So that's very, and they tried. They raised lots of money, but they failed. But after the iPhone is popular and the Android phone is popular, and startups all around the world, like Uber, Didi, Grab, are so successful so easily. Why? Because there is a very, very popular infrastructure for such kind of business. So I think that in this ICO hype in last year, I believe lots of those ideas are just not at its right time window yet. I believe most of them will fail, just like most of the startups in 2000 internet bubble will fail. They dreamed about selling pets food on the internet. Their dream realized, but it's not realized by themselves. It's realized by Amazon, by Taobao, unfortunately. I think that such kind of a scenario will be driven by some kind of very good applications that the two-way interactions will be able to happening more after such kind of first scenario happening. For example, I think the very first scenario happening on the blockchain will be some kind of things that are not so real. It could be like a security asset, virtual asset securitization, like copyright, maybe some streaming media, because it's not so real. For example, if you have a movie copyright recorded on the blockchain, and all the payments are happening on the blockchain, and hence all the cash flow is happening on the blockchain, the producer of such kind of movie or kind of content can do crowdfunding over the internet. In some kind of a niche area, those contents have only maybe like tens of thousands of audiences spreading all around the world. Some living in China, some living in America, they have a common interest. They are so scattered. The traditional way to do crowdfunding or even sell such kind of copyright contents may be very difficult. But with the blockchain, all the people can just crowdfund the content, and then the content can sell to such kind of interested audience. That will be a super effective way to produce new contents that today the centralized Netflix or iQIYI cannot achieve today. Once such kind of infrastructure is running, lots of legal, lots of third-party infrastructure will be set up. We don't even know the detail about it. But after such kind of first mover running very successful, we'll find out more industry around blockchain will be more likely easier than before to do startup. So we need to have very patience. We should be wisely choose the direction to go at the right timing. Another problem I think important for the blockchain industry is about the security of cryptographic algorithms. In the next 10 years, the quantum computer might be very close to mature, and lots of the cryptographic algorithm may have to be changed before the quantum computer become real. But a problem for this industry is that lots of just a concept, just a buzzword. I think that if we really want to do some quantum proof algorithm, we need to wait for experts to do peer review. But if kind of a blockchain or a cryptocurrency claims that they have a quantum proof scheme, I believe that's just kind of a buzzword, because if you really want to choose a secure algorithm, it needs to go through a very long time peer review. It's better to wait for the academic and industrial people to make sure that it's a good standard to use it. But I think in the next 10 years, we will need to face massive upgrade for the cryptographic algorithms. Another problem is that the identity issue of a blockchain. When Satoshi created the Bitcoin, he used the private key, public key scheme to identify the identity of its users. If you have a right private key, you must be the owner of the money. That's the only condition. But the problem for such kind of scheme is that actually it's very, very, very difficult for average users to command those kind of skills, those private key. And I believe that if we want to penetrate to billions of users, this will be a huge barrier. However, if we take a step back to look at the overall problems, basically it's just a kind of identity. What if we can use a hybrid system that the users have a private key, or multiple party have these private keys for users, and they combine together? So we will need users to have a very, very similar user interface. Just if you are logging into a Gmail account, logging into a bank account, but at the same time, those institutions doesn't hold money for you. You still control your money. That's quite possible. For example, in November, Bitcoin Cash will upgrade to have a new opcode, data check sake. With this new opcode, people will be able to send a Bitcoin Cash to a handle, just like send it to an email or a phone number or kind of a bank account number. That's very user-friendly. And different service providers will be able to hold a part of the controlling rights to a certain kind of money. And the users may just access to the money, just like if they're accessing to his Gmail or to his bank account. But at the same time, those authorities doesn't really control the money of the users. That will be really fantastic. I believe the user interface will be hugely improved by this new opcode. But I believe this is only a first step. Lots of new methods, new user interfaces will be invented to help the adoption of cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technologies. Otherwise, maybe we will have to stay in the same situation as if today, that the majority of the cryptocurrency investors or blockchain users accessing their control of blockchain or the money through exchanges. They use exchanges as a big wallet. I believe that's a lot of kind of decentralization that we are seeking for. If we really want to protect the decentralization, we should help the users to access the blockchain directly with improved user interface. Another topic that we will continue to discuss for the next 10 years will be the enhanced smart contracts. Smart contract as an idea that is first implemented by Ethereum, it brought lots of attention from the wider world, and of course you have a lot of strong potential, but the reality is kind of different than what we have promised. The smart contract right now, just like those computers have invented in its early stage, it's very limited in function and it's very hard to program. Lots of securities found in those important smart contracts, and people lose money in those smart contracts. And people imagine it as kind of an independent, independent program. The smart contract must be able to do lots and lots of interesting things. But if you really want to program it, you find it's super difficult, and it's very easy to make a bug out of it. So in the next 10 years, people will scale the blockchain, so the smart contract can have a much more throughput to make more things happen. And the developer environment, developer tools will be enhanced, so developers will be able to program more things. And the blockchain's infrastructure that help the blockchain interact with the real world will also be enhanced. So the ability for blockchain technology to make difference will also be improved in the next 10 years. So we will see the smart contract on the blockchain platform improved, just like the computer itself improved from its inventing. We see that right now our cell phone is much more powerful than the IBM machine that used to take maybe giant space. I believe such kind of progress will be made in the next 10 years. The smart contract will be totally different than what we have experienced on Ethereum today. Okay, let's jump it. Another topic will be the artificial intelligence interaction with thank you. Well, another topic will be the blockchain interaction with AI, because artificial intelligence mostly is about the data. Right now, the personal data is used by the centralized internet service, mostly free. But if we think about the future of AI, it's the data that make the AI very strong. So people sharing the personal data free, just like those Indians in America just sell their pieces of land to some really cheap presents. So the personal data, I believe soon, people will want to protect it. But at the same time, AI wants to train itself. So a blockchain will be an important platform for the personal data interactive with the AI algorithm. Lots of new techniques will be developed so that those algorithms will access to the data without reveal the data itself. Some technologies like MPC, multiple party computation, or some new cryptographic will be invented, so people can feed the AI training engine without revealing the data. That will be very important, because such kind of exchange of data will make people still control their data without revealing it. And every training process, the AI have to pay people. So such kind of trade will be much more fair than before. And the smart contract is kind of independent program. There will be lots of AI smart contract in the future that they can get the data from the outside world, and they are running on the blockchain. So maybe they don't belong to anyone, and they have its own independent personalities. That also will make the future world much more fair because AI potentially have a much strong wisdom and power than anyone else. If AI is not is belong to some kind of organization, that organization will be enhanced by such kind of AI technology hugely. But if some AI is trained by the data from lots of people, but it's held on a blockchain, so such kind of people can own those AI algorithms without letting some kind of central authority happen from letting this AI belongs to a specific party. A very concrete example would be, for example, the autonomous driving industry needs lots of data to train the AI algorithm. But there are lots of car manufacturers around the world. If you let only one car manufacturers get all the data from those cars, such kind of manufacturers will have a huge advantage over all other competitors because they can make the most advanced AI driving cars. However, if there are lots of car manufacturers, each of them have its own data, but they can share AI algorithm and contributing all the data together, and the AI algorithm will be co-owned by such kind of car manufacturer. No one will have obvious or undefeatable advantages over other competitors. The world will possibly better. So blockchain will be a platform for different parties to share the data and don't let anyone to control an AI algorithm, and the world will be more fair and more decentralized. Even the AI is invented or being developed much more stronger than today. So this is a mining summit. So what about mining? Today we announced that our new generation of chip. Our BM1391 has been mass produced right now, and it's a 7 nanometer N7 FinFET produced by TSMC, the most advanced process node in the world, and a billion of transistors is on the chip. The power efficiency is known as 42 joule per terahash. This is the most advanced chip as far as I know. Even if someone else make a better chip in the coming months, I think we can come up with an even better one. Bitmain will always be the best in the mining industry. Thank you. Actually, we know that the cryptocurrency market have been a bearish trend for quite a few months. Actually, this bearish trend is very serious. If you look at Ethereum, it have lost 90% of its value. This is a really serious, not a very good situation for the whole industry. And if we look at the chart, Bitcoin have dropped 70% of its price, and this bearish trend have been lasting for about 9 months. But investing to mining during the bearish market may be quite a smart timing move. I still remember the last bearish trend at the end of 2014. Lots of our customers buy our new generation of miners, that was S5, in the beginning of, it says S7. in the beginning of 2015. All those customers who buying that batch of a machine made a huge profit. Why? Because at that time, the mining farm are competing for customers. The maintenance fee are low, and mining manufacturers are selling those mining rigs at a very, very low price. And all the bull market usually happens at the most desperate hours in the market. And those machines are manned through the 2015, 2016, 2017. It's like 3 years lifetime. So that's all those investors in those batches of miners make a huge profit out of the most desperate hour of the market. So invest the mining in a bearish market may be a good idea. Sometimes I feel quite sorry for some of our customers buy the machine at the peak hour, the peak time of the market in 2017, in the end of the year. Because at that time, all the miners around the world are chasing for the power and driving the power prices to very high. And lots of new facilities are being built because of labor resources are also in high demand. Those costs are usually very high. But in the bearish market, we know that the cheaper mining machines and you have more time to negotiate the power supplies. You might be able to get lower power prices deals, and there will also be lower maintenance cost and a lower time cost. And if we look at the bear market in the history, usually the difficulty will stop rise or flats for a long period. The lifetime for such kind of battery machine will last longer than the bullish market. If you are in a bullish market, the price rises, but the difficulty also will rise very fast because everyone are investing into new mining rigs, building new mining farms. But if you are in a bearish market, everyone is freezed. But if you are investing, and you will find that this batch of mining will enjoy quite a long, difficult flight period. Okay, thank you. That's all my speech.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to Jihan. Wow, thank you. And congratulations. Thank you so much for bringing such a great presentation and for sharing with us. Thank you. Well, our next speaker will bring up a presentation on the topic of Bitcoin Cash and economic freedom. So I believe you all know who he will be. Let's welcome Mr. Rajav. Welcome to the stage. Please.
Can I use your handheld mic? I want the handheld mic because this is so exciting and I won't be able to stand still in front of the podium here. So thank you all for coming, and thank you, Jihan, for leading the way to this worldwide innovation. A lot of people don't know, back before Jihan was the CEO of Bitmain, he was just a guy that was interested in Bitcoin, and he translated the entire Bitcoin white paper from English into Chinese and spread Bitcoin into China. So I want to thank you for doing that, Jihan. Thank you. And around that same time, I got really excited about Bitcoin as well. And I want to tell you all about why I'm so excited about it and why the vast majority of the people that got involved in Bitcoin early on were really excited about it. And so we should ask all of ourselves, why are we here today? Some were here in the space earlier than others, but I want to tell you about why I got so excited about Bitcoin that I dropped everything else in my life back in 2011 when the price was less than $1 each to focus on this industry full time. And as Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, said, it's because digital currency may be the most effective way the world has ever seen to increase economic freedom. If this happens, the implications are profound. It could lift many countries out of poverty, improve the lives of billions of people, and accelerate the pace of innovation in the world. That's some pretty exciting stuff right there. But we need to ask ourselves, why is economic freedom important? Well, we have a list right here because economic freedom leads to a higher per capita income, higher life expectancy, higher literacy rates, better income for the poorest 10%, improved environmental protection, fewer wars and violent conflicts, higher self-reported happiness of the citizens, and less corruption and bribery. All fantastic things that propel all of humankind forward. And here we can see in a chart, on the left we have a list of the countries in the world that have the most economic freedom. Countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand, and Switzerland. Now on the right we have a list of the countries in the world with the least amount of economic freedom. Countries like North Korea, Venezuela, and Cuba. And we should all stop and think to ourselves for a minute. Would we rather live in one of the countries on the left with more economic freedom or one of the countries on the right with less economic freedom? And I know we have a number of members of the Georgian government here as well. Please take a look at that chart and give it some consideration. And sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. And here in the top left, we can see Hong Kong in the 1950s versus Hong Kong today. And in just a few short decades, it went from being a little sleepy port city to a worldwide economic powerhouse. And in that same time frame, we have pictures of Cuba from the 1950s versus today, a country with one of the least amounts of economic freedom in the world. And you can see that in that same exact time frame, it barely made any progress at all. So right there in a couple of pictures, you can see very, very clearly the benefit of having more economic freedom compared to having less. And so that brings us to Bitcoin having certain defining characteristics that made me know people were going to start using it as money. And I'll give everybody a hint. The reason I knew people were going to start using it as money around the world wasn't because it had the name Bitcoin. It was because of its characteristics that made it useful as money. So what if we made a list of all those characteristics that made Bitcoin Bitcoin? Well, here we did. I put together an exact list of that. And we can see that back in 2011, Bitcoin had all of these characteristics, meaning that it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system with low fees, fast payments, reliable payments, on-chain scaling. And I have a whole list of them right there. And you can see that in 2011, Bitcoin had every single one of those. And I don't know who was messing with my slides before I sent them in this morning, but what if we made a list of all the things that made Bitcoin popular to begin with? And I put a list right here as well, things that made Bitcoin popular. In 2011, Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, meaning that you can send and receive any amount of money with anyone, anywhere in the world, instantly, basically for free, and you don't have to get permission from anyone at all to do that. Not only do you not need to get permission, but nobody in the entire world can block you from sending or receiving those payments. So that was truly the first time in all of human history in which that was possible. And we can see that the payments were fast, cheap, reliable, and non-reversible. Bitcoin had all of those characteristics in 2011. And that brings me to where we are today. There's a coin that everybody's busy calling Bitcoin today. But we can see that in 2018, the thing that everybody's busy calling Bitcoin no longer has any of those characteristics that made Bitcoin popular to begin with. And I laid it all out there. You can see very clearly in my chart. But here we have Bitcoin, the thing everyone's calling Bitcoin in 2018, and the coin that everybody's calling Bitcoin Cash in 2018. And we can see that the Bitcoin Cash version of Bitcoin has all of those characteristics that made Bitcoin popular in the first place, and has all of those characteristics that made me know without any doubt in my mind that people were going to start using Bitcoin as money around the world. And we can see that version of Bitcoin today is Bitcoin Cash. And we can see here a chart of the things that define what makes Bitcoin Bitcoin. And there's 10 characteristics that I listed there, sourced directly from the Bitcoin white paper, the original Bitcoin.org website, and Satoshi Nakamoto himself, the creator of Bitcoin. And we can see that Bitcoin Cash has all but one of those characteristics. And the thing that everybody's busy calling Bitcoin today only has 2 of those 10 characteristics. And when you add in the things that made Bitcoin popular, you can see Bitcoin Cash has all but one of those characteristics that define Bitcoin and made it popular. And the version of Bitcoin that everyone's calling Bitcoin today in 2018 has none of them. Whereas back in 2011, of course, Bitcoin had all of those things. So we should ask ourselves, how the heck did this happen to Bitcoin? How is it that the thing that everybody's calling Bitcoin today in 2018 no longer has any of the characteristics that made Bitcoin popular to begin with? Well, I have an answer to that too. It was due to people who may have had an understanding of the software code, but they had zero understanding of the economic code that made Bitcoin successful to begin with. And I'd like to remind everybody else in this room that if you get the economics wrong, it doesn't matter how good of a computer programmer you are, because fundamentally Bitcoin is an economic system that uses computer software to create it, but underlying that is the economic system that made Bitcoin popular. And it wasn't the fact that it had the name Bitcoin or that it had particular developers working on that code. And so here we have the exact economic problem defined. It was a group of people calling themselves Bitcoin Core and Blockstream who openly and publicly advocated for 1 megabyte blocks with the goal, the openly stated goal is that they wanted the fees on Bitcoin to become high and the transactions to become slow and unreliable. And that sounds like crazy talk. Who on earth would want the fees to be high and the transactions to be slow? You don't believe me? Well, I have quotes from these exact people where you can hear it right from their own mouth that that's exactly what they wanted, the fees to be high and the transactions to be slow. And so here we have George Tiemann, an employee at Blockstream and a Bitcoin Core developer, word for word saying that higher fees may be just what is needed. What sort of businessman thinks that higher fees are just what is needed for a product that you want people around the world to start using as money? That's crazy talk. And we can see in the lower left-hand chart there, we have the price per transaction of Bitcoin skyrocketed to over $50 a transaction at the end of last year, while Bitcoin's market share in terms of all the different cryptocurrencies plummeted. And here we can see another Blockstream employee and Bitcoin Core contributor saying that slow confirmation, high fees will be the norm in any safe outcome. And we can see that towards the end of last year, the average confirmation time on the Bitcoin network rose to hours and even days to get your transaction included in a block. At the same time, the fees went crazy, and Bitcoin's market share in the overall group of cryptocurrencies plummeted. And here we have Greg Maxwell, the CTO of Blockstream, saying that I don't think transaction fees mattering is a failing, it's a success. Not only did he say that, but then in December of last year, when the fees were over $50 for a single transaction, and businesses like Bitcoin.com and Bitmain and Purse.io and just about everybody else who was trying to actually use Bitcoin for payments were busy switching to a different coin other than Bitcoin. This man right here was literally talking about how we should be popping champagne bottles and toasting to the success of the fees becoming so high on Bitcoin. Obviously, someone with no clue of the economic reasons that Bitcoin became successful in the first place. And here we have Peter Willey, another Blockstream employee and Bitcoin Core contributor, saying, we as a community should indeed let a fee market develop, and rather sooner than later. And again, in the charts, we can see the fees skyrocketed as Bitcoin's share of the overall cryptocurrency market ecosystem plummeted. And here we have Luke Jr. here saying it is no longer possible to keep fees low. And we can see the fees skyrocketed on the Bitcoin chain as the Bitcoin block size hit that 1 megabyte limit. But I have some other really interesting graphs here next. So on the green line in the bottom there, that's the number of Bitcoin Cash transactions happening per day. And the yellowish orange line is the number of Bitcoin BTC transactions happening each day. And you can see that a couple of weeks ago, Bitcoin Cash had maybe 5 or 6 times as many transactions on the network on a single day. And on this next chart, that green line, and maybe it's too small for everyone to see what's going on there, but that green line is how many times more expensive a BTC transaction is than a Bitcoin Cash transaction. And it ranges from several hundred to over 1,000 times more expensive. And if you look all the way over at the right, when Bitcoin Cash was processing about 5 times as many transactions in a single day as BTC, the transactions on Bitcoin Cash were 260 times cheaper than the transactions on BTC. The transactions on the Bitcoin Cash network were a fraction of a penny, while the transactions on the BTC network were tens of cents. Which means this guy had absolutely no clue what he was talking about, because we have the empirical evidence right now today to show that this was absolutely wrong in every respect. And so that brings me to why I'm so excited about Bitcoin Cash's impact on economic freedom. Because it allows anyone in the world to easily start a business, it enforces property rights, it promotes free trade, it's available to anyone, anywhere in the world, it enables them to have freedom of contract with people, it enables people to opt out of corrupt systems, and basically it's permissionless money for the entire world, regardless of where you were born, regardless of where you're currently living, regardless of what color you are, regardless of what color your passport is. Bitcoin Cash is money for the entire world. And we just went over all the benefits that more economic freedom can bring to the world. And it's clear that Bitcoin Cash has the ability to bring those benefits to the entire world because it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And I wish the BTC people good luck with their project, but I have a really hard time thinking about what sort of benefits to the world the current version of BTC that's not usable as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, what benefits does that bring to the world? I don't know. Maybe some of you have an idea, but I don't know, and that's why I'm so excited about Bitcoin Cash, and that's why I've lost my interest in BTC. And that's why Bitcoin.com is busy promoting Bitcoin Cash to the world, because if we can create more economic freedom in the world, it will serve as a giant economic stimulus for the world, accelerate innovation, reduce wars, make the poorest 10% better off, overthrow corrupt governments, and raise happiness. Wow. Good job, Brian, laying it out so clearly. And thank you, Brian, for starting Coinbase. And that's why I say Bitcoin Cash and digital currencies in general are the best tools the world has ever seen to accomplish these goals. And if that excites you too, I invite all of you to give Bitcoin Cash a try right now today at wallet.bitcoin.com and bitcoin.com. And if you visit free.bitcoin.com, we can give some free Bitcoin Cash to every single person in the world. And if you come find me here at this conference, I'll give you some Bitcoin Cash as well, directly from my phone to yours, so you can see just how easy it is and how well it works as cash for the world. So that's me. For anybody that doesn't know, I was the first person in the entire world to start investing in this ecosystem. And that's why today I'm so excited about Bitcoin Cash, because it has the ability to bring more economic freedom to the entire world. So thank you all for listening, and I invite you to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with us. Thank you. Well, I suggest everyone, let's give a big round of applause to all the speakers we had today. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And so, we're here in Tbilisi, Georgia, and we should learn more about the Georgian culture. And why don't we start with Georgian music? We know that Georgian music has a long history of interaction with many other regional musical styles and genres. And what I am most interested and obsessed with is Georgian dance. Georgian dance has many different styles with long histories too. And I am so excited because we're going to have a very special and traditional Georgian style of opening performance to officially kick off the 2018 World Digital Mining Summit. And ladies and gentlemen, now it's showtime. Thank you so much. Please all come onto the stage, please. All performers, please come up to the stage. Can we have all the dancers come to the stage? Thank you so much. Such amazing show. Please come up to the stage. Okay, let's all give a big round of applause to all the performers, all the dancers. Thank you for the amazing show. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming and joining us here from all over the world. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy your time in Georgia, in Tbilisi. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. And ladies and gentlemen,